and thank you for checking out this video. Hopefully by now you've seen our blog on the benefits of therapy. If not, don't worry, I'll include the link below. But this video is actually not about the blog post. Instead, I want to talk to my ladies who are ready to prioritize their mental health, but not quite ready to bare their soul to a licensed therapist or a psychiatrist. Instead, I want to share 3 simple ways that you can begin to assess and reflect on your own personal mental health so that you can begin to taking ownership of that mental health. So the first way to assess and reflect is through journaling. Journaling is a great way to capture your thoughts and your emotions, your visions and plans in a place that you can go back to on an ongoing or as frequent as you like to basis to reflect on that. The true beauty of journaling is, of course, the assessment component of it, but the reflection is where you will identify those patterns, those behaviors, or those wins that you may not have identified because you are too busy going through the grind in a daily life. And that reflection component will point directly to those moments in those days when you've experienced those events in your life. Now, you may not be a writer, and so journaling may not be for you, and that's okay. So the second way that you can begin to assess and reflect is through talking to a trusted advisor. And I want to emphasize trusted because it is important that when you are talking to someone, you have that psychological safety and the assurance to know that your thoughts and the emotions will not be held against you and brought up later in some sort of manipulation, or that person is able to listen to you without judging and applying their own pressure or perspective onto your life. So having that person trusted is really important, and that trusted advisor could be a pastor or a spiritual leader, or a friend or a mentor. Whomever that person is, it's important that you continue that process of assessment and reflection. But having the ability to externally process it is really great because not only are you hearing the words that you're saying and you can identify those patterns and behaviors, but that other person is there to help you to bring back to your memory, like, hey, wait a minute, weren't you just talking about this last month? I know it's a different person, but it's the same thing, and helping you identify those ways to move forward and shift your patterns and behaviors. So those are 2 ways to begin to assess and reflect on behaviors. The first is journaling, and the second is through a trusted advisor. Now, maybe you're not a writer and you don't really want to talk about your emotion. The third way that you can assess and reflect is through the process of mindfulness. Now, what do I mean by mindfulness? It's truly challenging yourself to be where your feet are. So if you, let's say, for example, you are out to dinner with a friend. Instead of thinking about what you got to do when you leave the restaurant, what you got to do next week at work, or what you got to do 5 years down the line, it's challenging yourself to be present in that moment. If you're like me, I find it hard sometimes because my mind is constantly on the next task and the next thing to stop and be present in the moment. But through mindfulness, what I have found to be helpful is that it allows me to be present in the moment, to allow that assessment to take place. I can reflect on what am I thinking, how am I feeling, what are my emotions, what are my mindset, and then later I can come back to that moment and reflect to identify, is this a pattern? Am I being triggered by something? Are these quick wins? Am I becoming a better friend? Whatever the case may be, mindfulness, being present in that moment, truly allows you to take that instant assessment that you can later use to reflect and begin to establish patterns and behaviors that will help you along your journey towards establishing a healthy mental state. Now, these are 3 simple steps, so make sure that you continue to subscribe and tune in because there are so many other things that I want to share with you. We're on a journey together to slay life, and that means slaying our mental health, our physical health, our financial health, and our relationships. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment so that I can provide you content and resources that can help you along your journey. Thank you for your time, and hopefully you've enjoyed the content. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you.